Hi, Lisa. Welcome. Thanks for joining us for a few minutes today.
Thank you.
Um, Before we kick off, I'm wondering if you could just introduce yourself to our membership and let them know a little bit about who you are, your background, where you work, and what you do.
Absolutely. So my name is Lisa Lawson. I have been in NASW New Jersey chapter member since graduate school, like many of our members. I'm a huge fan of the NASW, especially our chapter, one of the largest in the country. I currently work as a director of clinical and integrated health services for a large nonprofit in New Jersey. And I'm also a certified clinical supervisor and pro bono field instructor. I graduated from Rutgers for my graduate degree in social work, and then again went back because I like to go to school for business administration and got another master's degree. Since then, I've held several memberships in different aspects of social work in the healthcare community, including working with the NASW under the New Jersey Chapter Membership Committee, as well as the National Association of Puerto Rican Hispanic Social Workers, New Jersey Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association, and also NAJAMA, notably with their Education Council. I've been providing social work administration experience for well over a decade. I'm very excited for this next chapter in my social work career. And I've always been a big fan of inclusion, both for social workers as well as for the consumers that we serve. And that's just a bit about me.
Thank you so much. You touched on it briefly, but tell us a little bit about your experience with NASW and NASW New Jersey specifically. How have you been engaged over the years? I know in a couple of different ways.
Yes. So as I've noted, I have been with the NASW since graduate school in one capacity or another, but always as a member. I was actually revitalized my interest and motivation with the NASW, the more events that I attended, those with leadership like Jen and also Jeff out in the community. So it was really great to continue to see that leadership reflected. And it really meant a lot to me being a part of the NASW that we could see that not just the members, but also the leadership throughout. Also studying under Dr. Tawana Hubbard, as well as Dr. Battle, both former presidents of the NASW. So I've always had that connection. Currently connected with the membership committee with the NASW. And outside of that, I've just enjoyed attending the events and being part of the community, even the virtual chats for the general NASW. I really enjoy being able to provide that feedback to students and professionals, seasoned or otherwise, online, which has been great for making connections, including with the NASWs outside of the state of New Jersey. Some great professional colleagues have been made and friendships. So I just really value the time and the experience and the events I've been able to be a part of as part of the NASW New Jersey chapter.
Thanks, Lisa. And could you tell our membership a little bit about the position that you're running for and why you chose this position and the time to run?
Yes, I am running for president-elect of the NASW New Jersey chapter. This is an excellent time, I feel, to run for this position, given the things that I'm doing within my workspace and in my personal life that I feel are really attuned to the interest of the social work community, including my leadership and community experience, supporting advocacy for more equitable practices in relation to, as I mentioned earlier, inclusion in the workplace. Equitable pay for social workers is very important to me, as well as a continued examination of solutions for both growing student loan debt and solutions for students who are going to be joining our social work profession in the future. I've often supported enhanced policies related to social worker safety, including the current social work safety policies that are sitting as bills. Hopefully will get approved, as well as advocating for reduced delays in licensure obtainment for new and practicing social work professionals. As some folks know, I generally enjoy attending the BSWE meetings because I like to give resources and advice, even if just in the chats, to social workers who are interested in learning more about potential CEUs and opportunities to further their education. And again, just being a part of the NASW, the ability to continue to generate thought and share and collaborate resources with my colleagues, with our NASW community, providing solutions to social workers to the most vulnerable populations throughout New Jersey has always been very important to me. And again, now more than ever, when in a post-COVID environment, as we continue to see changes in healthcare, both for the social work workforce as well as for the community we serve. So that's my main reasons.
That's amazing. And you really did touch on the next question I had, but I wonder if there's any other thoughts you might have on what you're hoping, to bring to the chapter of NASW, hopes or visions that you have for the state of New Jersey as our profession, or a couple of goals you'd like to achieve if elected to the role.
Absolutely, and thank you for kind of rolling right into this. But as I mentioned earlier, I am very much staying on the pulse of inclusivity and those practices, again, both for social workers and for consumers, our community alike. I think in this time we have both a unique opportunity and a challenge collectively to be such an influential voice and to continue, again, with the growing inequity that we're seeing post-pandemic, to stand up against historical systemic discrimination, racism, and biases that have been impacting our community. I think that I can support with this by driving that continued conversation as a person of color and as an individual with disabilities, as a social worker, towards developing more sustainable, impactful, and equitable actions in our schools and our places of work, for social workers, for students, for professionals, both macro, clinical, and otherwise. In addition to being a chair on a diversity, equity, inclusion committee now, absolutely support the discussion of an anti-racist rhetoric and again, inclusive practices in our communities, while advocating for increased accessibility and accountability efforts to the legal and justice systems that perpetuate racial inequity and grossly disproportionate rates of incarceration of people of color and individuals struggling with addictions and disability. So I think that given my experience in those fields and advocating and sometimes even directly in my current position, I would make an excellent candidate for president-elect. And of course, advocating for the ongoing needs of the immigrant and refugee population, as well as supporting advocacy to drive enhanced access to really in-need community-based services, even including Wi-Fi and resources to individuals who do not have access to that, thereby providing us with greater equity in respect to integrated health, to access to education, to access to health, basic services, and just continuing to support for access to vaccinations and boosters, and patient education to communities, and then prioritizing those conversations to, equitable healthcare solutions for, again, our underrepresented refugee, immigrant, and marginalized populations. So.
Well, that's really exciting. You touch on so many different things. And I think, as you very beautifully said, there isn't any better time for social work, right? The time is now, and there's no shortage of work that we need to do, and lots to do within the NASW structure. Is there anything else before we wrap up? Just a quick conversation that you'd like to share with our membership?
Well, two things really. I guess sort of as one social worker member of the NASW to all of you, I just want to give this kind of little nugget of hope, if that's okay. As social workers, compassion, reason, it's inseparable from our nature. So I want to encourage our community to join us in this new year. We're just going into March, and for this new outlet and outlook, to not focus so much on misinformation and hate-filled rhetoric, social media, for example, riotous misinformation, and for us to come together as rational and compassionate minds, and to use that ration and compassion for reason and respectful conversations, even with people who disagree with us, because we're part of the social work profession. And I do hope for your votes in this election year, but mostly I just have hope, for this board and for our growing social work community, for a growing number of NASW members. And I just appreciate the opportunity to be running for this position. Thank you.
Lisa, we so appreciate your leadership and volunteering. I know you're well known throughout the state of New Jersey in the social work community and the nonprofit world abroad. We, as an association, are only as strong as our membership and our volunteers who raise their hand and lean in, even though you've got a million other things on your plate. And we're really grateful that you, time and again, raise your hand and are willing to serve and also lead. And we're really grateful for that. So thank you so much for spending a couple of minutes with us and for running for the president-elect role of NASW.
Thank you so much.